I'm Max Cervantes, sous chef of the Beach Club, and welcome back to another Chef's Corner. Today we're going to be doing mini crab cakes that is on our Beach Club menu, summer menu, and come and try them out when you have the chance. And then today we're going to show you how to make them. All right. So first off, going to start off with our gloves. Remember, got to be healthy, got to be safe. So the reason why we chose this dish is because it's a very, how can I say this? It's a very typical, Florida coastal food. It's very good cuisine, very light, very savory. So first off, we're gonna start tossing in our crab meat inside the mixing bowl. We're using right here premium backfin crab meats, just because we don't want to get the whole jumbo lump. Despite that, it's more of a delicacy. We want to keep that for a cocktail, rather than having it for a nice fluffy cake. All right. Once you get your crab already right next to the mixing bowl, now we're going to start by beating our egg. Right? We're going to use one egg. We're going to post the recipe, but for right now, we're just giving you the demonstration just to put it in. Make sure your egg is nice and beaten. Then we add it into the mixture. Right. After that, following next, we're going to add our toasted breadcrumbs, just to give it that little binding, just so it has a nice hold, a little bit more texture, a nice hold. And then we're also going to add our Joe's mustard. Joe's mustard is a little bit of we have our homemade recipe Joe's mustard here, which consists of a little bit of Dijon mustard, mayonnaise, some sour cream, a little bit of Worcester sauce, just to keep it light. We don't want to overpack it. And we're going to mix all those ingredients up lightly. We don't want to break up all the meat. All right. Once you mix in those ingredients, we're going to follow up with our black and spice seasoning, our chives, and our lemon zest. Once we got all of our ingredients, start mixing all that in, just so we get our nice little bind. All right. Once we've incorporated all of our ingredients, we're going to grab a ring mold, or you can do it by hand, however you choose, but because we got to serve it to our restaurant standard, we're going to use a ring mold today. Grab a good chunk of that crab meat, not too much, you don't want to get too big, right? You're going to just shape them nicely right there. Now, the reason I chose this dish is because crab cakes recently in the past years, or at least I've been here in Florida, has been a very typical, very light dish. Everyone likes it, it's a crab, a little bit of some cold relish that we have, it's a nice balance. It really brings out a little bit of that Florida flavor, All right, once we have our crab cakes nice and shaped, we're gonna move on to the stove. Right. We're gonna make sure our pan is a little bit nice and heated. We don't wanna get on a super hot pan. We wanna start on a cold pan so we don't scorch our seafood, right? Once we got that little oil action going in there, we're gonna grab our crab cakes. We're gonna place them on the cold pan. And we're gonna let the heat slowly get to them so they can start cooking them, searing them, but on a very light sear. We don't wanna give it a hard sear because remember, there's our soft, fluffy crab cake. We don't wanna mess with that texture. Today we're using olive oil because I find that as our best resourceful oil, but if you're at home, you wanna use a more healthy alternative, you can use avocado oil, you can use coconut oil, but I would personally just stick with olive oil. It has a nice little flavor and it really complements the crab cake. So we're gonna get those cakes nicely seared. We wanna just get them lightly seared just to get a little bit of color, but we don't wanna fully scorch them. Then after a while, we're gonna grab our cakes, give them a flip. You see? We're just heading on for that nice little golden crust. We don't wanna overdo it. And then after you've seared your crab cakes very nicely, give them a little time, like we said, we want to lightly do it because now we're going to finish our crab cakes in the oven. So get your little pan, little drizzle of olive oil. And we go to the oven. Our oven is preheated at 350 degrees. You know, we're just gonna flash it in there for a little bit of 8 minutes. But just if you wanna make sure, grab a thermometer and we're gonna cook it up to 165 just to make sure that the egg doesn't have any following salmonella bacteria. After our time has passed, now that we have our crab cakes out of the oven with a nice little golden crispy crust, now we're gonna go on to the plating. We're gonna have our nice little fresh grown, locally grown arugula. We're gonna toss that in a mixing bowl. And we're just gonna get a little drizzle of olive oil, just to have it dressed, you know? We wanna give it a little bit of body. Once we've mixed it with our olive oil, we're gonna have that as our bed to sit our lovely crab cakes. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit extra in the center, just so we can hold our nice mango relish. Of course, our mango relish is made with locally grown mangoes. We get them about 20 minutes around the area, and then we just macerate them with a little bit of mirin and some Tajín spice, which is a Latin American spice that has a little bit of sweet, spicy, and savory in it. Finish placing that right there. And then just to accompany it, we got ourselves some nice tropical plantains that have been sliced and fried into a crispy chip. So here we're just gonna grab, just finish it off. You can have it either way, but here we're gonna go a little bit fancy. All right, and once you're done, that is it. That's your finished product. Following right here with our Beach Club mini crab cakes. You got your nice locally seared crab cakes. You got your nice little crab tropical mango relish, and then of course your crispy plantain chips over a bed of nicely tossed arugula. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy.